Welcome back. Today we are going to add PvP to our game. Someone pointed out that the characters can't attack, well, they can attack each other, but the health bars aren't properly updating. And I took a look at it and I was like, oh, we're missing some code. And it just so happens that I was also working on a new team filtering system for gameplay abilities. I added some new filtering code. And so we'll take a look at that, and we'll modify all of our abilities to basically handle two different teams. Just because everybody knows what they are, one side's going to be Alliance, and the other side's going to be the Horde. And so let's take a look. Okay, so first thing we need to do, I added some new gameplay ability code, and so you are going to need the 2018-1028 release. And this is new. I actually just uploaded it today. It has an old date because that's when I built it originally. I just didn't upload it till today. Okay, so I have already grabbed this. So we do the same thing we always do. Come in, delete OWS plugin, and the plugins folder, copy, and back to the plugins folder and paste. And this will add the new gameplay ability filter. Okay, let's load it up. So yeah, what was happening is that the players were able to damage each other, but the health bar wasn't updating. And it's actually something that probably a lot of people haven't realized. So some of you may be learning something new here today about how Blueprint Inheritance works. Okay, so I guess let's try running it first, just so I can show you what's wrong. Okay, so remember we're loading now the time of day from the server. And so what we can do is we can just grab this here, and we can just alternate this between 3000 and 0. And now when we start back up, should be daytime. Yep. Okay. So here we go. We're going to attack this other Seraph, the other client. There's a second client. It's sitting on my other screen. Okay, we actually did a hit there and hit for 40 some damage, but notice it didn't update. Another 41, and one more and it'll die. See that? But yet it doesn't update. So that's a problem. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to come here to our blueprints, and we want to open our base character, because I want to show you what we've got here for updating the floating health bars. So in our base character, on tick event, let's see what the class defaults in that tick is. It runs per frame, and it runs on a remote, meaning not on our cells. We don't want one of ourselves, and it updates them. And that would update all of the remote characters. And that code looks good, so it's like, what's going on here? But if we go to our derived class, and we go to our event graph, you'll see there's a problem. We have a tick event right here. And so because we have this tick event, it's not running the other tick event. That's the way that inheritance works, is that if you override it, it won't run the other one. Now I guess we could delete this, but probably eventually we're going to want to do something on this tick event. But yet I really don't want to have to duplicate that code here. So here's what we can do. We can say add call to parent function. You might not even know this was here. And now what will happen, we want to pass in delta seconds, even though we're not using it, something the feature might. And so now what it'll do is every time this tick gets called, let's check the settings. Okay, so here we were only calling it every half second. We actually want to undo that because we want that to get called every frame. Otherwise it's going to be a half second update on the health bar. Not good. So now every time this tick event gets called, it will call the parent tick. Well, you can see up here that the parent class is our base character. And so now, it will update the health bar. Now there may be something else that's going on as well. So there's something else we may have to look at here. Yeah. So there's an error here. I don't know. I'm gonna have to check if this is in the underlying OWS and it just got copied in here. But basically what's happening, unfortunately, is that every time that you start up the character, it was supposed to take the constitution, show how you could take the constitution, times it by your character level, and get your max health. Anyway, we don't want to do that. We just want to use the 100 for now. So I'm just going to disconnect this, pull it out of the way, and because of that, we are going to have to go and fix our character, because now it's been set to max health at 10, which was also screwing it up, because when you have 100 health and you have 10 max health and you get hit for 41, you still have more than max health and it will still show a full bar. And so that's problematic because you would only ever see it if it went below 10. So it took me a little while to figure that one out. So what we want to do is we want to go here to third person game mode and we want to get this name, Future 3. Okay. And I'm now going to go over here and I'm going to go into our characters, find Future 3, edit, and look at that. It's at the max health to 10. So we don't want that. There we go. And we'll hit save. Okay. So let's give it another try. So now we're not overriding that max health. And we are running our parent tick. And so we should get a better result. Let's try it again. So again, I've got a second one over here. And look at that. I can switch back to here. We died. And we'll respawn. There we go. Oh, we got another problem here. Oh, no. No, we don't have another problem. Forgot the health bar. I thought that our character didn't go away because I saw 2 health bars, so we have a health bar from our last thing. So, yep. So here we're back. Okay, cool. And so that is now, we now have PvP where we can attack each other. But now what we'd like to do is say, well, you know what? We don't want you to be able to kill people on your same side. So we're going to create a horde, and we're going to create an alliance, and we're going to make it so you can't attack each other. So we're going to do this with team number, which is already built in. And so what we're going to do here, we need to set it up so we can create a different team. So what we're going to do here is we're going to come to login and create character widget. And I think for this main canvas or border, I think I went to 300 and changed this to -150. It might have been a little different. We'll have to see. Then I came in here and I found a horizontal box and I dragged it under here. Not there. Yep, here. And I think we've got 20 padding on top. And then we dropped a text and a combo box. And the text says faction, and it's black. And the combo box, come up here to the variable and a DD, drop down, faction. And we want it to fill. And we're going to add some elements here. So we're going to add the alliance, boo. And we're going to add the horde. And since the horde is better, We're going to make the horde the default. Everyone knows the alliance is made up of little kids. Okay. So now we've got this, but here we're sending in the class name. We need to change this. We need to make it so that we can send in both the class name and the faction name. Get selected option. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to actually append these together. And we're going to append them with an underscore in between. And we're going to pass that into class name here, and pass it into last class name here. And we'll give ourselves a little more room. Okay, so now it's going to be, you know, Sereth. Remember it was Sereth underscore future. So it's going to be Sereth underscore alliance, Sereth underscore horde, Sereth underscore future underscore alliance, and Sereth underscore future underscore horde. And now we're passing that in as the class name that we want to create. A reason that we're doing that is we're going to come back over here to our classes, and I've already created them. But basically what you want to do is you want to rename your Sereth. This will say Sereth, you want to add underscore alliance. And then your Sereth future, you want to add Sereth future underscore alliance. And then you want to basically create two new classes, one Sereth horde, one Sereth future horde. Make this one a copy of Sereth alliance, match these to Sereth future alliance, right? So they're copies. You can open up two windows like this so that you can do it more easily. And what we're going to do is in these horde ones, we're going to make sure in the alliance ones that team number is set to 1, and in the horde ones the team number gets set to 2. Okay? So that's now going to make sure that we can create a character on team 1 or a character on team 2. And so that's important. So we're going to do that. And now this will make sure, because this class name will match that underscore name. Just show it again here. See, Sereth underscore alliance, which was the faction. Sereth underscore future was the name of the class. Probably shouldn't have used underscore there, but whatever. And then it's adding on underscore plus the faction at the end of it, therefore it matches, and it will create that one and set the right team number. Okay, so we got that. And so we want to take a look at now. I created a new filtering system, but we don't actually have an ability that uses the filtering yet. And so we're just going to temporarily use this one we've got here from OWS. It doesn't completely work, but it'll be enough for our purposes. So we're going to come in here to Blueprints, third person character with abilities, scroll down, and we're going to hook the 4 key up to Fire Laser. It just does a line trace. It's just a line trace example. But I want to show you what we can do. So first of all, I need to show you how it works. Okay, so it basically is doing a camera trace at the center of the camera. So you kind of have to put the other person in the center of the camera and hit the 4 key. And you see that? It's damage. Okay, so we proved that that works. But you can see here that all we're doing is filtering out, all we were doing was filtering out ourselves, right? And so that's not what we want. And so we're actually going to delete this filter. So we need to filter on team. But you'll notice that I'll do it again. So drag that and make filter on this. Okay, so all that the built-in one lets us filter on is self, others, filter others out, you know, just that. Required actors, we can do a certain class, but we're not creating a separate class for Horde and a separate class for Alliance. Duplicate code is bad. Don't do duplicate code. And then you can just toggle reverse in the filter. So that's not going to do what we want. So what I did is on this class, you'll see we're using gameplay ability target actor single line trace. For some reason, Epic's allowed to have long names, and we're not. So these are actually the maximum, even though I only added OWS at the front, that's the maximum it allowed. Really strange. Anyway, ln underscore ln is single line trace. So we pick that, and look at that. There's this new OWS filter. Ah. So now we do make filter. And we do make OWS filter, and look at this. We've got a team number to filter on. And from here, we can get our team number, and we can plug it in. Okay, by default, the team number filter does a not. So right now, it would filter out someone on the same team as us. Okay? But then we can use this reverse filter if we need to test it, which we're going to do. So now, what we're going to do is we need to rehook up the start location. I had this problem in testing. I was like, why is it not working? It got disconnected when we picked the type because it refreshed these. And we're going to change the trace profile to pawns. We're looking for pawns. This old filter's left here. I'll probably fix this in the future, but for now, just don't use this filter. Only this one works if you use my OWS gameplay ability target actor underscore ln for line. And that should work. So now, what we should see happen is that we put it in the center, hit the 4 key, we hear the sound, still playing the sound, but nothing. And the sound's probably being run, oh, hold on, actually, yeah, the sound's probably being run here. Or that's maybe the sound saying. Anyway, we're going to go here. Well, we do want to filter out self. And we can plug in our self. But now what we're going to do is we're going to do a reverse so that it'll now only kill people on the same team so we can see that it's working. Apparently I'm controlling this one. See? And now it hits. Anyway, so now that is how we can do team filtering anytime you use RPG weight target data, which is one of mine. At some point I'll probably rename this OWS weight target data, but this whole system used to have RPG as the prefix instead of OWS, and that one didn't get changed. So anyway, that is how you can now filter on team number here. But we also want to filter on team number for our other abilities. So first, let's take a look at our light grenade. We're going to go and open light grenade replicated projectile. And if we come down here, you'll see we're filtering out the owner self. We really need to do it after this third person. And so let's slide this over. And so this is the owner of the projectile, which is the attacker. And we can say get team number. And we can say not equal. And then we do need to give ourselves a little more room. Because we're going to have to pull this other actor, cast to third person character with abilities. Let's also make sure it's the right type. That would probably get fixed somewhere else, and we pull off get team number. And so remember, this was the blast radius for the light grenade. We're basically now saying, hey, filter out anybody that shouldn't be hit because they're on the same team. And so we can now try that one. And we hit the E key, and look at that. No longer hurts anymore. Cool. So we got that one taken care of. And the final one is our weapon collision. And so notice we're calling this get closest actor in melee hitbox. This one needs some better filtering. And so we're going to go and we're going to take care of that. Believe that is in our base character. Pulling up the template just to make sure I do this one right. This one was a little tricky. So we're going to double click that, open it up. Okay, this one had some problems potentially in that it didn't verify that we actually hit somebody and so we could actually hit ourselves. So there's this local variable closest actor index. We want to make sure that this gets set to -1, which basically means we didn't, it's a special code that means we didn't find anybody, so don't kill yourself. Otherwise this thing will pull 0 at the end and we actually end up damaging ourselves, which is not what we want. We probably don't need that anymore. But we do need a branch here. And we only want to go to here, copying the return node, and we'll go in with no actor returned on this. And basically what we want to check is, did we actually find somebody? At which point it'll be greater than 0. And so we want to do that. So now that's going to make sure that it started -1, and if it loops through everybody and it's still -1, we didn't find anybody. So don't go get the 0 index, which is our self. Instead, go return nobody, which is empty hit actor. Now we've got to come up here, and we've got to add a new cast here for the team number. So we're already in our actor that is attacking, so we can just say get team number, and we can say not equal, but we need another team number. So we need to take this array element, cast to third person character with abilities, give ourselves even more room, and pull off get team number of the person who's being attacked. And create a branch. And so only when they're not equal do we want to add them as a potential target. Okay, and I think that's everything we want. And that looks good. Okay, so let's go give that a try. Because it defaults to this one. So we swing, it doesn't hurt ourself. That was the thing we were fixing. I'm actually surprised we didn't notice that before. And now it doesn't hurt this person. And just to verify that this is really working like we want, we can come into here, and we can actually just pull this off and set it to equals, just to verify it's all working before we go run this outside the system. So I'm going to hit play. There we go. We're back to killing. Awesome. And pull this back up. So now all 3 of our abilities, the one is the fire laser, which was just to show you that test. So actually I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it for now. It doesn't have any effects or anything with it, but I'm going to leave it. So now we've got our attack with weapon collision where we swing the mace. Won't hurt people on our team. The new fire laser won't hurt people on our team, and the light grenade won't hurt people on our team. So now all we need to do is make sure that we can create a character that's on a separate team. And so to do that, we need to bring up our RPG World server. And we need to save all. Shut this down. And we're going to start up from the batch file. If you don't have the RPG World server app working, you'll have to skip this part. Okay, test for demo at test.com. And so, yep, okay, so we want to create a new character. Say Seraph Alliance. Seraph Alliance. Okay. And so that should have created a new character. Seraph Alliance. We'll double check that it's on Team 1. Team 1. Sweet. And I've actually already created a Seraph for the Horde, the good one, on this test for demo 2. And as you can see, it's on team number 2. And so, let's connect. Our world is spinning up, just moving it to the other screen. Hopefully it puts us in the right place. Ah, bummer. Nighttime's gonna get us. And so now, we will come back here. Start up another one. And test for demo 2 at test.com. And Seraph for the Horde. Well, that's weird. Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, this happens sometime. So what happens here is that there's just an invisible floor here. And I just stuck a character sitting on top of it. And if you're moving the mouse while it's loading, it actually spins around, and so it's actually off to one side or the other. It's really weird. I need to fix that. It doesn't happen too often, but I must have been moving the mouse cursor. So we're going to select Seraph for the Horde. And here we are. And we're now on separate teams, so we can hurt each other. See? Pretty awesome, right? So now we have PvP. We can kill each other. I know a lot of you guys are into PvP. I'm not into PvP, but the reason I'm not into PvP is because I'm bad at it. I can do pretty good in PvE dungeons, but PvP I lose. I think I've played about 10 games of Fortnite, and I have 0 kills. So yeah, PvP is not my thing, but I know a ton of you guys are into doing PvP stuff, which is cool, and here's why. PvP MMOs are going to take like half the resources to make that a PvE MMO, okay? So PvP MMOs are way easier. So if you're a small group of people working on trying to do an MMO, if you want to make it easier on yourself, PvP is going to be the way to go. Create some cool, fun combat, do lots of PvP stuff, faction stuff. You've got this team number. You could do more than 2 factions if you want. You could have like 4 factions or 5, or you can do some fun stuff, but PvP MMO is actually a pretty good way to go if you're a small team, because you get to really reduce complex things like building out lots of mobs. You don't have to necessarily deal with dungeons. Storyline doesn't have to be nearly as complex, right? You can do simple quests and stuff, and kind of focus on PvP. You could focus on people taking over different territories, right? You could have different, like, ways that you keep castles or whatever it may be that your game's doing. But PvP MMOs are a pretty good way to go. And I've talked to a ton of you that are doing it, so I figured it'd be good to add some filtering here so that we could handle PvP. Okay, that's all for today. Until next time, see ya.